Okay, so this is day 30, and this is working through the homework worksheet that is about map scales. The first question that we have here is, how far is it from the west side to the east side of Lake County? So here we have the scale off to the side. So I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to copy this. So right there is the 0 mark, and right over here is the 10-mile mark. And I'm going to make this scale on my paper longer than just 10 miles. I'm going to put my 10 mile next to the 0 again, and I'm going to mark down where the 20-mile mark would be. And then do it again and mark it as 30. So now I have a ruler that will measure just about anything on this whole map here. It's big enough to go across. So the first question is, how far is it from the west side to the east side? It's all just about the same width going across. I'm going to measure it across the widest spot here. So I line up my 0 with the far left edge, the west edge, and I can see that this goes to just a little bit more than halfway across from 20 to 30. So I'm going to say it's 26. 26 miles for question number 1. Number 2. How far is it from the northern border to the southern border of Lake County? It's all the same height from north to south, no matter where you are on the county. So I'm going to lay my 0 mark at the northern boundary, and I can see that the 30 lines up right at the bottom. So it's 30 miles north to south. Number 3, how many square miles is in Lake County? Okay, we're going to approximate this as one rectangle. That's pretty close. It's a little bit curved here, but that's all right. And we just said that it was 30 miles up and down and 26 miles across the bottom. So to find the area of a rectangle like this, we're going to do base times height, 26 times 30. And I take my calculator out. 26 times 30 equals 780. 780 square miles is the area. That was question number 3. Number 4. How far would you have to fly an airplane from Fox Lake to Vernon Hills? So on the map I find Fox Lake there, and Vernon Hills is down there. I take my scale that I drew, I put the 0 mark at the origination, and Vernon Hills once again is there. So I line it up, and it looks like it's kind of close to the 20, not super duper close, so I wouldn't say 19, I'm going to say 18 miles from Fox Lake to Vernon Hills on a straight path. 18 miles for number 4. Number 5. How far is it from Zion to Lake Zurich as the crow flies? So there's Zion, and Lake Zurich is down here, and as a crow flies means straight line. If a bird was flying from one place to the other straight, how far would it go? So I'm going to put the 0 mark at the beginning location of Zion, and here's Lake Zurich, and it's kind of close to the halfway point between 20 and 30, but I can definitely tell it's a little bit closer to the 30. So I'm going to say that's 26 miles. Number 5 is 26. Number 6, draw the smallest rectangle that covers Antioch, Fox Lake, and and Round Lake. How many square miles is it? So I'm going to lay a piece of plastic over my screen so I can draw it. Here is Fox Lake. Here is Round Lake. And Antioch is right there. So I want the smallest rectangle that will cover all of those. And that would be something along this line. I want to find the area of that rectangle. So laying my scale down, the bottom is about halfway between 0 and 10. So I'm going to label that as 5 miles. And then up and down, it looks right around 10. I would not say 11 or 9. I think it's really smack dab on 10. So a rectangle 5 by 10 is going to have an area base times height, 5 times 10, an area of 50 square miles for that rectangle. So I said base, but the screen says length here and width. So it doesn't really matter which one you call length, which one you call width. One of these is 5, one of these is 10. The whole area is 50. Next question. We have now a map of the Fox Lake area. How wide is Fox Lake from the west shore to the east shore? Since we have a new map, we have to come up with a new scale. And the scale is up here at the top. I put down a 0 mark and then a 2 mile mark. And then I'm going to slide it over so that my 2 lines up with the old 0. And I'm going to mark another 2 mile mark. Another 2 would be 4. Slide it over. Mark another 2 mile mark at 6. And do it again at 8. And I'll do it one more time. That way my scale is going to be able to measure anything at all on the map. It's as big as the whole thing. So that's going to work out well. Okay, number 7. How wide is Fox Lake from the west shore to the east shore? Right here is Fox Lake. And I'm going to line up my 0 with the far left-hand side, the far west shore. Looks like right about there. Anything beyond that is called Nippersink Lake. So right here is 0. And the farthest east shore is right over there, just a little bit short of the 4. So between the 2 and the 4, closer to the 4, you could say 3.7, 3.8, 3.9. All of those numbers are going to be just fine. I'm going to say 3.8 for number 7. 3.8 miles. How far is it from the southern shore to the northern shore of Fox Lake? Okay, I'm going to put down my plastic so I can write on my computer screen. Here is the northern shore, and the most southern shores are right about here. So, laying down our scale, it looks like exactly 2 miles. So question number 8 is 2 miles. Question number 9. A company wants to lay a pipeline across the widest part of Grass Lake. It costs $5 million more per mile to lay pipeline underwater. How much extra would the company have to spend? So Grass Lake is this one right here. And we want to go across the widest part. So from there to there. Lay our scale down. And it looks like it's pretty much halfway between the 2 and the 4, a little bit over to the right. So I'm not going to say it's exactly 3 miles. I'm going to estimate. I'm going to say maybe 3.2 miles. Number 9, 3.2 miles underwater. So 3.2 times $5 million. Get my calculator out. 3.2 times 5 million. That's going to be $16 million. Number 9, 16 million. I'll write it there. 16 million bucks. Number 10. What is the area in square miles of the whole map? So the map is 9 miles across. The base is 9 miles. And the height of this thing is 10 miles. And so the area is base times height. The area is 9 times 10. That's going to be 90 square miles. Number 11. A person drove their boat from the extreme southwest corner of Pistake Lake to the extreme northeast corner of Lake Catherine. How far did they boat? So, here is the extreme southwest corner of Pistake Lake. Here is the far northeast corner of Lake Catherine. Lay our scale across, and it looks like it's more than 10 by just a little bit. So I'm going to say 11 miles. Number 11, the answer is 11 miles. Number 12. What is the width of Texas? We have a new map, so we have to draw a new scale. Down here is the scale. So I put one end of it being 0. The other end I'm going to label 500. And then I slide it over and make a few more. The next one's going to be 1,000. And then 1,500. And then 2,000. 2,500. And then 3,000. I'm going to call it there. That's going to be close enough, big enough for me right now. So the width of Texas, I line up the west end with 0, and the eastern end is between 1,000 and 1,500. You can make your own estimate. It looks to me like it's smack dab in the middle. So I'm going to say 1,250 miles from one side to the other. Number 12, 1,250. Number 13, what is the approximate area of Wyoming? Right here is Wyoming, and it's one of those really nice rectangular states. So the base of this is a little bit more than 500 miles. I'm going to estimate that that is 600 miles across. Then the height looks to me pretty much exactly 500 miles. So the area of this is base times height. The area will be 600 times 500. Get my calculator out. 600 times 500 equals 300,000. 300,000 square miles. Number 14. What is the length of the western coast of the United States? So we're talking about from up here, and it's kind of a curvy thing going down to there. We're going to try to make it a little bit more exact than just simply going one straight line. Let's try to break this up into little sections that are a little bit more straight. We have here from Washington down to Oregon and a little bit of California is a pretty straight line of 1,000 miles. So I'm going to write that down for that section. And then I'm going to turn and I'm going to make this another section that's about straight. And that's another 1,000 miles. So altogether for question number 14 is 2,000 miles from of this coastline right there. Number 15. How far would a person boat from the southern tip of Texas to the southern tip of Florida? So right there is the bottom of Texas. Right there is the bottom of Florida. Lay my scale down. The 0 at the Texas, the origination, and southern Florida is between 1,500 and 2,000. And it does not look like it's halfway, a little bit short of halfway. So I'm going to say 1,700. That's between the 1,500 and the 2,000, not quite halfway. Number 15, 1,700. Number 16, what state is located at 30 degrees north, 100 degrees west? So this is reviewing our previous lessons, and we have two notations here of 30 north. So that's going to be this line right there. And here are two notations of 100 degrees west. So that's going to be this longitude line. The answer is Texas. Number 16, Texas is at that coordinate. Number 17, we have here what's called a survey plat. It's a map of a single person's yard. Off to the side here we have a smaller inset map. It shows a larger part of the neighborhood. It shows the whole block. But for the most part, this is just a map of a person's yard. They use this to make sure that they are following all the zoning rules, and the city has a record of everything that has been going on in terms of construction and where things are located. Down here we have the scale. Notice that we have from 0 to 20 feet in this case, not miles. So I'm going to mark down 0 and 20, slide it over and do it again to get up to 40. Slide it over, do it again for 60, and I'll do it one more time, 80, and that should get me anything in this map. That looks like big enough. Number 17, zoning laws dictate how close a detached garage can be to a house. How far apart is it here? Okay, here's the garage. Here's the house. Put this in between, and it's between the 20 and 40. Not exactly. It's a little bit to the right. So I'm going to estimate 32 feet. Number 17, 32 feet. Number 18. The zoning laws say you can't have a house closer than 30 feet to a street. How close is this one? Is this one to the street that runs north and south? Right here is the street that runs north and south. Lay this down, and it looks like it's 40 feet. 40 feet for number 18. Number 19, the owner wants to have a power line stretched from the northeast corner of the property diagonally to the house. It costs $20 per foot. How much would the entire project cost? Here's the northeast corner of the property. Here is the closest spot to the house. So a diagonal line, nice and straight, would be about 80 feet. And it costs $20 per foot. So I'm going to multiply. That'll be $1,600. Number 19. $1,600. Number 20. Zoning laws say you can't have more than 1/3 of your property paved. Will the combination of the athletic court, house, and garage cover too much? Okay, so here's the garage, the house, and this square here is what they want to make into a basketball, tennis court kind of a thing. So we got to find the areas of all of those. The house is about 30 feet by about 20 feet. Multiply those two together and we get an area of 600 for that. The tennis court is 60 by, I'm going to say, 38. Multiply length times width there. That's going to be 2,280. And then the garage is 20 by 20. Multiply those two together and you get 400. So adding all this up, 400 plus 600 is 1,000. 1,000 plus 2,280 is going to be a grand total of 3,280. That is how much is paved. The whole property is 100 wide. Here, let me erase this stuff so it's not so confusing. The total paved area, paved over by the house, garage, and athletic court, is about 3,000. This whole thing here, let's make another tick mark, 100. Yeah, this whole property is about 100 feet that direction and about 90 in that direction. So 90 times 100 is a total of 9,000 square feet of the whole property. This is 3,280. This is more than a third of that. 1/3 of 9,000 is exactly 3,000 square feet. It's more than that paved, and so the city is going to say, nope, you cannot make that athletic court. You're going to have to make it smaller. Or if you really, really, really want that court, you can petition the city board, and maybe they'll give you an exemption. Or maybe they'll tell you that if you make some of it out of paver brick, where the water the rainwater can percolate down through it, maybe they'll let you do it that way. So anyway, that was number 20. For number 30, we have this city map of Chicago, and we have a scale that is just going to be a verbal scale. And so that's not going to work for me to use it on the screen here. I got to pull out a piece of paper and do it on the exact same paper that you are working on. So let's see, does this show up on the screen all right? It's okay, let me zoom in here a little bit. Okay, there we go. Question number 21. I won't be able to zoom in on the questions. You're going to have to just follow along and listen. So it says here, if the map had a scale of 1 inch equals 2 miles, how far is it from the Chicago Historical Society to the Field Museum? The Chicago Historical Society is right up here. The Field Museum is down there. So I need to find out how many inches that is. Line up the 0 mark on the origination, and down here it's about 3.5. It's a smidgen more, but we're just going to approximate a 3.5. Each one of those inches is 2 miles. So 3.5 times 2 miles for each inch is going to be 7 miles. So question number 21 is 7 miles. Number 22. If this map had a scale of 1 inch equals a half a mile, how far is it from the Mexican Fine Arts Center to the Polish Museum in a straight line? Okay, so I don't know what the exact scale is of this map. We're just going through some exercises here. Let's pretend that each inch is a half a mile. So I'm going from the Mexican Museum up to the Polish Museum. Where's the Polish Museum? There it is. So I lay my ruler down, and I can see that it's about, I'm going to say it's closest to 3 inches. A little bit shorter. 2.5? Okay, let's call it 2.5. So 2.5 inches, and each one of those inches is a half a mile according to this question. So I multiply it by 0.5, get my calculator out. 2.5 times 0.5 equals 1.25 miles. That's question number 22. Number 23, if this map had a scale of 1 inch is 1.5 miles, how far is it from the Ukrainian National Museum, that's right here, to the Chicago Children's Museum, which is right there? Okay, whoop. So I lay my ruler down, and it looks like it's 4 inches. So it's 4 inches from there to there. We're saying in this story problem that each inch is 1.5 miles. So I multiply that. 4 times 1.5 equals 6. So it's 6 miles between those two locations. Number 24. If the map had a scale of 1 inch is 4 kilometers, how far is it from the Adler Planetarium, that's right there, to the Museum of Contemporary Art, that's up there? So lay your ruler down, 0 on one end, and we can see it's 2 inches. We're saying that each one of those inches is 4 kilometers at this point, and so that means a grand total of 8. 8 kilometers from there up to there. And that's the end of the homework. Show your teacher that you have completed all that, and you'll get credit in the grade book.